Okay, I got the whole floor vacuumed up, sponged up some dirty areas where I could, wiped down the mortar bed, checked with my scrap piece of ditra heat. I'm pretty much flush with the top of the flange. When I set it, it might sit a little bit high with mortar with the thin set. I'll squash it down the best I can, get as good as I can, go from there. So right now I'm just going to lay out the Ditra Duo, they call it. They used to call it Ditra TB, which means for thermal break. When you have a concrete slab, that insulating bracket on the bottom allows the slab not to absorb all the heat, and it comes up instead of going down. So it really, really helps out. So I'm going to lay this out, go from there. Okay, now at this point, I got everything pretty much dry fit in with a Ditra Duo here, and since this is going with a mortar bed, you want to make sure that it's sloped, it stays sloped, because this is going to conform to some areas, but not the slope of a mortar bed. So what I'm doing is going from corner to corner, making a line, and then I'm going to do a relief cut there and a few other places to make sure that the Ditra Duo is properly, sloping with the mortar bed, and there's no voids. Everything is set down properly and gives good coverage. So that's one thing that's real important when you use this method. And you're going to have heat inside the shower. You got to make some relief cuts, pretty much the same thing as you would with tile, to allow everything to slope properly to the drain. Okay, and now at this point we're ready to set the membrane. They recommend a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch square notch trowel, but it seems to never work well with this membrane. With the fleece backing, I find it kind of like a sponge, and it's hard to get mortar coverage on a sponge if you don't have the right depth. So I actually tried a 1/4 by 1/4 here, and I'll show you in a second, and it wasn't getting barely any coverage, and to have the correct mortar and it's mixed to the correct consistency to get the coverage. So I ended up switching to a 3/8 trowel, which is slightly worn, more like between a 5/16 and 3/8 roughly. And doing that one time gets a coverage, so I pretty much stuck with that the rest of the floor. But anytime you set membranes, you always want to check for coverage, because that's the #1 reason why a membrane will fail, is this lack of coverage, and that goes pretty much for most tile installations. Lack of coverage will cause a failure, and basically that's like the support of the tile. So they're usually going to be the substrate deflection, something's moving, it's not fastened properly or not strong enough, or you have lack of mortar coverage on the material you're trying to hold down. So I hope that helps.
snow spreading south and east this afternoon as temperatures continue to fall.
Oh, we're gonna get in. Looking good. Okay, so I've had this issue in the past with this membrane. My rep even says use a quarter by quarter. Make sure it's thin set loose, and I have a more than loose enough. So I just got a 3/8 trowel here that's slightly worn. Let's see. 3/8 there. And on that side's a little bit less. So. Got it now. Oh yeah, see that coverage now? You can see that? A lot better.
You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.